Hello there and welcome to DISNEY Dreamlight Valley. Today we have a very special video. I'm sure a lot of you guys are always wondering, why do I get so little moonstones for my Dreamsnap challenges? Why do I see other people constantly farming 4,000 every single week? But my submissions don't look much worse than theirs. Why are they getting more and I'm getting less? Well, today we're gonna answer all of your questions. I'm gonna give you 10 tips on how to improve your Dreamsnaps results and get more moonstones guaranteed. I have been analyzing the Dreamsnap results for weeks. My results, community results, looking through the whole internet and comment section, trying to figure out any tips and any patterns that people have noticed with the Dreamsnap results. And I've been working on this video for the last couple of weeks. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you do. Subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 25,000 subscribers. And let's dive right into it. 10 scientific tips that are guaranteed to improve your Dreamsnap results based on science. That's what scientific means. Tip number 1. Always follow the theme. Now this one seems to be pretty obvious, right? You open the current challenge of Dreamsnap. The theme is called Swashbuckle and Swagger. So, and basically the first thing that comes to mind is pirates. So it's an outfit challenge. The theme is pirates. So you have to have a pirate outfit in the photo. Seems pretty simple, but if you look at the previous seasons of Dreamsnaps, a lot of people don't follow the theme. And it's okay, because a lot of people also don't plan to get higher moonstone rewards. A lot of people actually just submit the minimum effort picture to get the minimum moonstones, which is nothing wrong with it. But if you're watching this video, I'm guessing you're not one of those people. You want to get the best of the best. So if you do want your picture to get taken seriously and have a competitive chance to get as much moonstones as possible, you have to follow the theme. Some of my best submissions that I've been super proud of did not 100% follow the theme, and that's why they didn't receive as much moonstones if they could. I've seen a lot of absolutely mind-blowing submissions from our community, and if they are perfect scene, perfect composition, everything is perfect, but it's not exactly following the current theme, it's not gonna do so well. Don't try to interpret the challenge in a unique way. Just think, what would most people expect to see in this challenge, and use that as your guide. If it's critter love, make sure there is a critter in the picture. If it's a kitchen delight, make sure you can clearly see that your submission contains a kitchen. I think this one is pretty obvious, so let's move to number 2. Tip number 2, pictures need to look good when they're small. And this is a very important one. If you open voting and vote now, you will see that some of the images are gonna look incredibly small, especially if you are making pretty much any size can look small. It all depends on what kind of device people are using to vote for your images. Not everybody. In fact, I would argue that 95% of people, don't quote me on that number, it's just my guess, do not use the full screen mode to zoom in on the pictures before voting. In my opinion, majority of the people are gonna speed vote, and they're gonna just use their first impression in order to judge the picture. So if you cannot see what's going on the first glance, when the picture is very zoomed out, imagine people voting on Switch. A lot of people play this game on Switch, so a lot of people will vote for your picture on a small, tiny screen. Also, if you have a monitor with low resolution, or it's like a 24-inch monitor, you just will not get all the detail without zooming in. So make sure that, what I would suggest, to just take your picture and just go as far away from your monitor as you can, or just take a screenshot and try to zoom it out and imagine how would it look, for example, on a phone screen, or on a Switch screen, or on a small tiny monitor with low resolution. Make sure there is no crucial details in your picture that will be lost and therefore will decrease the overall appeal of your image if it's looked at a small screen. Tip number 3, make sure important things are visible. Now, this one is the one that a lot of people do not actually follow, and basically what it means is, if it's an outfit challenge, please do not use the selfie photo. If it's an outfit challenge, do not do this. Do not even do this. Do this instead. Make sure your whole outfit is in the picture. If you are going to use a pose with a critter, make sure that the angle actually shows off your outfit. Your outfit is the center of attention on your picture if it's an outfit challenge. Don't, like, block your character with something else. Don't hide half of your outfit behind certain obstacle. Make sure if it's an outfit challenge, make sure the whole outfit is visible. And same goes for the furniture. I've seen a lot of people trying to hide the required furniture items in decor challenge and go for a simplistic look. In my experience, it doesn't do so well. People want to see furniture items that actually fit the theme in a furniture challenge. So don't try to hide it. Incorporate it in your design. Tip number 4, do not make complicated images. Now, this one is interesting because what do I mean by complicated images? By complicated, I mean images that have deeper meaning. Things like hidden messages, references. Do not do it. If you want to get a lot of moonstones, do not do references in your images. Here is why. I haven't seen a single image that is using a reference or some hidden message or some, like, deeper meaning to it that did well in Dreamsnaps, because 2 reasons. Number 1, a lot of people will simply not get the reference. There's been so many incredible submissions that I personally thought deserved to be way higher, but I got the reference and I took time to get the reference. It goes back to one of the previous points where people will not spend time analyzing your image. A lot of people are just gonna speed vote, and if they don't get the meaning of your image in the first 2-3 seconds of looking at it, it's gonna do poorly. I'm not saying to just not be original or creative. That's not at all what I mean. If you are gonna do a hidden meaning, make sure that it's not the most defining quality of your image. Try to look at your image without knowing the reference. Like, imagine you have no idea about anything. Just erase your mind for a second and just think if your image is good, pleasant to look at. 99% of the time, people will judge the image on how pleasant it is to look at, not how smart or sophisticated it is. It can still be original and it can still have some really cool message to it, but that message should be secondary. First of all, the most important thing in a dream snap in order to get as many moonstones as possible, as it has to be pleasant to look at. So please prioritize the simplicity and the beauty of it over the message if you want to get a lot of moonstones. Tip number 5, always use all the tags. It might be obvious on the first glance. If you go into your current challenge, you will see there is mandatory tags and there is suggested tags. For the mandatory, there is usually, it says exact number of how many of these tags you need to have on the picture. For example, for the current challenge, we have simple and strong, so it will not even let you submit the image if you don't have enough tags. However, suggested tags are also very important because they affect your base score. And there is no definitive proof of how many items you need, but you should always have at least 1 item of every suggested tag in the image, potentially even more if you can. And it's been pretty much data mined that the base score consists of both mandatory and suggested tags. So you have to make sure that you have all the tags in the image, because if your base score is low, no matter how much votes your picture gets, it's just not gonna do well just based on the base score. Once again, we don't have exact science. Like, does it matter if you do way more versus just bare minimum. I don't think there's any proof that having way more tags in your picture, for example, if it's a furniture challenge, having like 50 of each tag doesn't necessarily make it rank better than having just 5 of each tag, or whatever is the minimum requirement. So just make sure to have at least one item of each suggested tag, and make sure to have the minimum mandatory tags in every single submission. Tip number 6, don't leave empty space. Now, this one is something I see a lot. People would make put all the items that they want, that they requires, on the background, and then they will just have a bunch of grass. For example, if I were to take a picture, like, I have a nice background there, right? It looks pretty decent, but there is also a lot of empty space, especially if you zoom out. I've seen a lot of submissions that didn't do well just because they look too empty, even though there's a lot of things that actually fits the theme. So my suggestion would be, sometimes you will not want to use the wide shot. Sometimes if you don't have enough items to put, if you want to concentrate, like if you can fit all of the stuff that you want to show, your whole idea, inside a smaller frame like this or this, you should do it. It's better for the image to have less items than to have more items but still look more empty. Also, get closer to whatever you're trying to use as a background. Make sure that you have some depth to your image. Don't just have a background. It's very important to have foreground as well. For example, a lot of people are using a little purple flower or any kind of flower on the foreground to indicate the depth of the image. For example, you can see this little flower right here. I can position my shot the way that it actually appears in the foreground, and it just adds so much more depth to the photo, having items on multiple planes. We have a background layer, we have like a middle layer, and we have a foreground layer. And that doesn't mean that you should like drop a billion items in your photo to make sure that it's not a single visible spot. But sometimes just placing something like a little stone or a flower or a candle or a tiny little item that adds a little bit of texture, maybe some path. There's always a way to make sure your picture looks good, not too busy, but also not too empty. Tip number 7, use critters, villagers, mannequins, or anything that can add a little bit of life to your photo. Just having your character on the picture is great, but in my experience, the pictures that do the most, they have more things going on. If you have a villager, make sure that you can include them in the picture, and it's going to make the image so much better. If you have a critter, they can also add life to your image. There's so many villagers with so many outfits and so many different personalities and base animations that you can always find somebody that would fit the current theme perfectly. And also, it doesn't hurt to include just people's favorites like Vanellope, Wally. Wally can not ruin any picture. And another benefit of using critters is that you can actually do very unique poses if you do a critter, which can make your photo stand out even more. Try equipping different critters and doing different poses in your dream snaps, and figure out what works the best for your scene with your outfits, and play with different villagers. What I usually do, I would create some kind of a artificial trap or like a border around my scene. So if I want a villager in my scene, I would get him in, I would wall it off. Like, for example, here is when I was working on my critter submission. I would stand here inside. I would bring all the villagers that I want to be in the picture inside, and I would lock them off in this area. And then when I'm making a picture, I can just let them go. I stop hanging out with them, but they cannot leave because they locked in, and they will start doing their default animations, which will look incredible and very unique in your picture. So I highly recommend using villagers, critters, and mannequins if you're making an inside photo. They are just gonna add so much more life and meaning to your photos. Tip number 8, play with time of the day, lighting, and filters. it is very, very important. Perhaps one of the most important things in the game is to choose the correct time of day for your images. You can go to your settings, graphics, and actually change the time right here. Now, the biggest benefit of it, in my opinion, is being able to have sunset or sunrise or even a moon in your photos. Trust me, having a bright sun in your photo, it's just a cheat code for your dream snaps. Pictures with sunsets or sunrises do so much better in voting. First of all, it creates very nice contrast. It creates a bright spot that draws attention to it when people see their photo on the voting. Also, it colors the entire image in a different color. For example, in this sunset, everything just looks more gold. The shadows look more interesting. The whole image just stands out way more. In terms of filters, I highly recommend you not to use any of these filters or any of the frames. Usually they're being frowned upon, and I absolutely hate this filter. I haven't seen a single image that looked good with this filter. Just don't use it. However, some of the basic filters can be very helpful. For example, you can make things look lighter if you have a dark photo. You can make things pop out a little bit more. Just experiment with these basic filters. Sometimes you will find absolutely perfect image. Oh my god, Wally, you're adorable. Now that is a good image. That is just a good image. Tip number 9, and this one goes very close with tip number 8. Use outdoors as much as you can over indoors. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen many indoor submissions that actually did well in Dreamsnaps, unless the challenge specifically calls for indoors. For example, the only Dreamsnap challenge that we've had so far that indoors would be favored over outdoors is the kitchen Dreamsnap, because it literally requires you to decorate a specific room. So if we ever have in the future something like a bathroom or a kitchen or like a nice library or something like that, then yes, indoors is gonna have much higher appeal in voting. However, in my experience, if it could go either way, you should always choose outdoors. Best submissions of all times has been always outdoor pictures for multiple reasons. First of all, being able to use sunset, sunrise, play with the time of day, change the lighting, change the biome, change you cannot take a picture with a critter inside. Also on the inside, you are very limited with the amount of space that you have. You cannot have as many layers as you would have on the outside. There is so much restrictions on the inside. The only positive thing on the inside is using mannequins. So sometimes for submissions, if you are planning to use mannequins, then probably you should consider doing inside. But for 90% of submissions, I would always go for outside. Outside images, you can use nature. You don't even have to put that much furniture. You can use trees, you can use bushes, you can use natural light, you can add some light sources to make your images look absolutely stunning. I have not seen a single indoor picture winning Dreamsnaps or coming anywhere in top 10 that was not the kitchen submission. So, science approves. And the final tip, don't overthink and don't give up. Now, what do I mean by this? Don't overthink. It's something that I should follow myself because I clearly cannot do it. Every single time I do a dream snap, I will have an idea and then I'll do it and then I'm like, okay, this is not perfect. I need to change this. I need to change this. Basically, I'm spending 90% of my time making potentially 5% improvement to my photo, which in my mind lets me believe that the photo becomes way better than I think it does. So when it doesn't do well, it just crushes my soul. So I would highly recommend to not overthink your pictures. If you got an idea, do it. And if it's not 100% the way you want it, and if you can see that it's gonna take you way too much time and effort to improve that final couple percent, it might not be worth it in the end, because once again, small details are not even going to be visible to most of the voters because people just a lot of people speed voting, and it's about the way the image gets perceived in the first couple of seconds. So my tip would be just snap your image and then just walk away from your computer, make it small, make it as small as you can, and then come back after a minute and just look at it. And what do you think? Would you vote for it if you saw it in a Dreamsnap feed? How would you think it would rank against other images? Don't look at the details, look at the very broad image and try to see if there's anything that can be improved, that can improve a broad look. If the only problem that you have is with details, then I don't think it's worth it going too deep into it. And I wish you guys remind me this when I do a next live stream doing a dream snap, because I'm probably going to spiral and try to improve absolutely every single detail. So I should follow this myself. And also, don't get upset. I know a lot of people receive their dream snap results and they say it's their favorite submission. They thought they were going to do so much better, and in the end they just get 900 or 1500 or 600 moonstones, and it just crushes your soul. I completely understand when you put so much time and effort and you absolutely love the way your submission turned out, but knowing that most of the people didn't agree with you is just devastating. But it's very important to stay motivated and not get upset every time you get a low amount of moonstones, because next time you will probably get more, and if not, then there's always a next time. After all, it's just a game, it's for fun, and any amount of free moonstones is always nice and appreciated. And this is all I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I had a blast making it. I've been collecting these facts and trying to gather all this information for the last couple of weeks, and I think I cracked Dreamsnaps. I think I know now what people want to see, what does well, what doesn't do well. So hopefully from this point on, I'll be able to stay on a 4,000 moonstones train. I got 4,000 last two submissions, and I've got 4,000 probably maybe like 7 times in total. I think there was only 4 submissions that I didn't get 4,000. I got 1,500 or 2,500, but I truly believe I can stay on 4,000 train, because I think if I follow my own rules in this video, I'll be able to dominate Dreamsnaps, and so will you. Let me know in the comments if you applied these tips, and tell me if your Dreamsnap rewards improved, because I'm like 99% sure they will. And also, let me know if you have any tips of your own how to make your Dreamsnaps earn you more moonstones. And also subscribe to this channel. You're awesome. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.